Hi everybody! Today we're going to see how I draw Ember. Okay, I'm going to start off with a quick sketch for myself to make sure I get the right pose and to make sure I get everything in here too, because sometimes I fall off the page. It happens. It happens. But also I just want to make sure I get all the details in because she's a pretty cool character. And which is also why we're here, right? You know, we want to make sure we get everything in. And I just like to sketch it out first, just to make sure I don't forget anything. Let's see. And also, it gives me time to think of a pose, too. Because it's better to just sketch it out, think of cool, fun stuff, and then go from there. Because I've done it before, where I've drawn stuff out, and I forget stuff. It happens. But, you know, again, that's why we sketch. Just to get the ideas out. Okay, so I think I got a good pose. So now I'm playing around with the material, because she's got a lot of fun material to play with here. And that's the nice thing about her character too, is that because of the clothes and material, we can play around with different shapes or poses, because we kind of get what is called artistic license whenever we start moving into different positions, you know. Okay, I think I'm good with the legs. All right, so I am going to work on the body, and she has kind of a very elaborate chest piece here, so I'm going to make sure that I sketch in a lot of these details, because I'm going to try something a little different with the pen technique that I'm going to use, or the Sharpie technique that I'm going to use. Because this is a lot of wiring, is what it looks like here in her chest piece. So I'm going to try to... it's going to be hard to explain, but I'm going to do almost like piping. So basically I'm going to be drawing, if this was the wiring in her suit, I'm going to draw this line, then I'm going to come back and draw that line. So instead of just drawing one line like this, I'm going to make a hollow line, basically. So draw that line, then that line. You'll see what I'm talking about. But to do that, I have to give myself the sketch of where it's all going to be, you know? I can't just draw willy or nilly. Those are two crazy guys, right? So let's draw... Let's see. Let me draw the rest of her. Well, let's draw her arms, because I gotta figure out where we're gonna put those. Right. So let's draw one kind of up like this. Right. That'll raise that shoulder up. Well, since I already drew her slanted like this, it's better to go ahead and raise this shoulder up and bring this one down. Okay. It's just the way the human body works. You know, sometimes it's posed certain ways, and they don't look right, and sometimes they do. So I'm just kind of trying to pose her so she looks right. And this is going to be kind of kooky crazy, because her hands are glowing. So I'm trying to think of a good pose to put her in that it's not all over the place. Okay, I think that might work. And let's just do a fist in this one, because it's going to get really crazy if we don't. Okay. So just let me draw a few details to make sure I got that right. Okay, I think that should work as far as a sketch goes. And so now I'm going to switch over to Sharpie, and you're welcome to use a Sharpie as well, or use a pencil. It's totally up to you. But Sharpie's going to help out so you can see much better. So I'm going to switch over I'm just drawing a few more little details real quick before I get started, just so I don't forget, because sometimes I'll forget stuff. Okay, and that's going to go to there. That's to her neck, like that. Okay, I think I'm ready. So I'm going to start off with the thin Sharpie for the smaller details, like her eyes, just because this Sharpie is way too big for it, so I'm going to do this. So basically I'm going to start with just like drawing the eyes, just a couple almond shapes about the same place, and I kind of try to I'd like to try to kind of put stuff in at the same time. So if I do left side, I'm going to do right side. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of leave them like that, give her a little bit of a lash. I'm not going to do the pupils because of her glowing eyes. I'll do that with color. I could mess it up if I do that. So I'm just going to do a few little lines for her nose. That way we don't go over the top. And I'll do like that for her eyebrow or her nose line. And then I'm just going to do a little smile for her lips. Do a bit of a top lip, a little bit of a bottom lip, the opposite top lip if I'm going to get that crazy and call it different words. And let's draw her chin, because I know that's right in the center and I can build off of that. Okay, so I'm going to draw her jawline up like this, and then I'm going to come down from here, draw to that jawline there. And I think I can switch over to the big Sharpie for the rest of it. Let me just double check the hair. No, we'll switch over. Now we're good. Okay, so her hair's kind of flowing out, so I'm just going to start with her part right there and just kind of draw kind of something like that, and that'll give me the top of her head. And I'm going to, okay, this is getting a little tricky. Here's what I'm going to do. Let's draw her hairline like this. Okay, and then I can build off of that. Oops, let me close that so it doesn't dry out. And so now I'm going to draw a little swoop to this part of the hair. Okay, kind of keep it thin like that, and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of do something like that and draw to that. And now she has more hair in the back going straight back, but because her head is kind of up, you can't quite see it all, so we're just going to do like this. Okay, alright, and that'll count as the back of her head. Okay, so now her ears are coming out of there, so I'm just going to kind of draw some thin lines like that, some thin ears like that are behind that hair, so we're kind of getting away with having to connect them. Okay, so her neck is covered up by this little like shawl, I guess. Like this color is the same color as that, so I don't know if they're connected, but we're just going to draw something. So I know her neck's going to come down like this, and then it's going to be covered up by the little shawl piece, and I'm kind of drawing a place for creases. Okay, so this is going to come over to this arm like that. Same thing here like that, but that one's up, remember, because our arm's going to be up, and we're going to loop it over because it just kind of hangs over her shoulders here. And so now I'm going to come back with a sharp Sharpie and add just some thin lines just to give it a good look, because if we do something like this, the thin versus the thick makes it look really good. It kind of stands out, you know? So that's why we do stuff like that. And if you're using a pencil, it's okay. You do it how you want. You don't have to add those thick lines, or you thicken some stuff up and thin stuff up to make it look the same. Okay, and I'm just thickening up the border right there. Okay, so now we can continue with the rest of her. And I'm going to draw her arms into this chest, and that's when we're going to get crazy with the crazy detail I was talking about, okay? So first, let's do that. Let's draw the chest piece, and I'm going to draw the side of her like that, and draw up over her chest, and over like that. Bring it in, and draw the other side. And this is kind of a weird W, but you'll see why in a bit. So, and then connect it like that. So, now that that's there, we can draw everything else that flows off of it. But, since we're here, let's do this. So with my sketch, I kind of know what I'm going to do with the piping. So I'm just going to kind of follow my sketches here and see what I can do. See if I can pull this off. So I'm going to kind of do something like this. Let's do it on both sides. Okay, and let's do what this is. Let's go ahead and connect this so you see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to kind of do something like this. And what I'm trying to do is make this all look like a thicker line in here. So see, it almost looks like a face. That's the best way to look at it, is it's got this weird face. Okay, so let's go over here and do this. And so you don't really have to do this. I'm doing this just to give it a different technique, a different look, you know? Something different than what everybody else is doing. That's how you make your own style. You don't have to do this. But again, I'm doing it just to be different, just to make it stand out and look cool. Because when your friends draw this, it won't look like this, you know? That's why I'm doing something different. Okay. And that's about it. We're not going to get too crazy. I think that looks good. Perfect. See? Stands out just a little bit. All right, so let's keep going. So now let's draw her arms. And she has like the backpack straps that we always have. So we can do that there to hold that on. And that'll give us a good defining edge. And, oh, you know what I'm going to do too? Is because her hands have this like that glowing fire type thing, I'm going to make them a little different. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's not going to follow the shape of the hand, but that's because it's fire around it. You'll see. Not too much, but you'll see. Okay, so let's draw her arms. She has bandages. Not bandages, but, you know, a bandaged arm with material, you know, on the side there. So we can do that to give us an edge, okay? So I'm going to draw it up to about right there. So I'm just going to kind of do something like that. Same thing, do something like that. I'm going to come back with a thinner Sharpie and highlight those bumps that I just did. And that just kind of gives it another look of material, you know, something like that. And so now I'm going to keep going. And, oh, like I told you, I like to do both sides. Let's do the other side. And it's kind of the same, but different. So we're going to come down like this to where it's bandaged there, and then this one's going to come down and have like some strange bandages, but it's going to bend. So I'm kind of doing something like that. Then I'm going to follow it up to where the hand is, and then cut it off and do something like that, because this has bandages going like that. So you see why I did those creases now? Just kind of like cool, like little extras, something like that. Okay, so since we're doing both, let's finish this one up to the hand as well. And this thing goes like this, up to about right there, because she's got that wrist protector. And this is going to come down for the crease. And we're going to go ahead and add a line like that. And I'm going to add the wrist protector, which is something simple like this. You don't have to get too elaborate. And it's got some cool stuff in it too, so we're just going to kind of do something like that. Again, that piping. Okay? And so now we're going to do her hands, and this is what I was talking about. So this is going to be a fist, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do something like this. And that's going to give me the hand that I was talking about, the on fire fist. Okay? So, see, we're going to do it with color, and you're going to see it's going to look even better. But see how it's got like that whippy flame looking thing? That'll give it that technique. So we'll try to do the same thing over here. This hand's going to be open like that with the fire. So I'm going to kind of do like this. And that'll give me the flame look. And so I can kind of get away with doing, you know, other stuff like this. That I don't have to draw every single finger. And they can kind of look like it's on fire. See? So we've got like a little bit of a different technique, and what I'm going to do with this is kind of highlight that this is where a hand is. You know? Kind of define that wrist a little bit, and give it the flame look. So see, same thing here. Let's just do a little bit of that, and it'll define that there's an edge there. Okay, something cool like that. All right, so let's keep going. So let's draw this belt buckle that she has right here, and that'll be the front thing that everything else can be back behind, because it helps hide and gives us edges to work with. And she has her little satchel container over here, and it's got some stuff on it, but we'll worry about that with coloring. And so same thing, continue the belt over here, just connect them, and then we can draw her cloth here. So I'm going to come up here like this just to give me an idea of where, see, I wanted that to make it flow, just to give me an idea of where this is going to go. And same thing over here. I'm just going to kind of do like that and follow it over, and we can build off of that. So now I'm going to draw her hip like this, and that like that. And so now we're going to draw the cloth. And so I'm just kind of flowing with what I had here. Just some little fun shapes. I'll just draw this edge here like that. And this one, it's kind of, I'm going to do it very lightly. I don't want it as thick as that, so I'm just going to kind of lift up a little bit with my Sharpie. With your pencil, just draw a thin line, basically. And then I'm going to continue it like that. And it's just to give it a subtle little thick versus thin, like we were doing before. Okay, and this is going to kind of wrap around like that, so I'm going to bring it in like this. Same thing here. I'm going to come in like that, and that'll take care of the leg. So now we just got to draw her shoes. So I'm going to draw the ankles like that. Let's go ahead and do this one too. I'm going to bring it down like this to do the ankle. There's the back of the leg to the heel like that. And this does have a little shin protector there. So I'm going to try to draw the same thing together for you at the same time. So this is the front of the foot down to the toe. This is the front of the foot down to the toe. We're going to bring it over to the heel. So over to the heel. Pretty simple. So I'm going to take care of the rest with color, but the last thing I'm going to do is just add a few little details on the boot. I'm going to do something like that. And creases. Add a crease like that. I'm going to do this little same thing with the technique there. And add that heel just to make it stand out a little bit more. And you know what, let's add the soles like that. Just like we did there. That'll help it stand out. So I say we take care of the rest with color. But for now, that is Ember. So here is my colored version. You could do it however you like. I just thought I'd show you how I decided to color it. If you'd like to color it like this, you can always pause the video here and use the coloring techniques that I used, or you can just make it your own. Remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures of how I draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button to be updated about each new video.